Welcome back, everybody, to Breaking Point, Unreal America's Voice News. Don't forget, this Saturday, Florence, South Carolina, we're covering the Trump rally live. I will be on Long Island at the incredible America First Warehouse, bringing you hits from our watch party. So stay tuned. And Rav brings the best coverage of the rallies. You know, we were the first ones to pan the crowd and show the different angles. And man on the street interviews. We go there with a lot of camera crews and people and a great production staff. So check it out for pre-rally and post-rally coverage as well on americasvoice.news. All right. So every once in a while you meet somebody who's very special. And about 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago in Lumberton, North Carolina at a Trump rally, I met Lucretia Hughes, really special woman. You know, pulled herself up by the bootstraps, made a life for herself with a new production studio, Fallback Production Studios. I want to welcome Lucretia Hughes to the show.
Thank you so much. I still remember when I met you also. And then that's why I say between us, God, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I believe that God places people in your life and on your path. And every time that we have met again, it's like that we haven't been away from each other. It's like we pick right back up with what we're talking about.
Yeah, you know, we only talk every 6 months, a year, you know, but listen, I think when you're telling the truth, you don't have to remember the last lie you told, unlike, you say, Bill Clinton, you know, about everything.
Or Joe Biden.
When you do. Yeah, and when I don't even know if he knows he's lying, you know, on some things, but yeah, for sure. So, you know, we're tired of being told we're bad people for being the good people, and the guy who opens his gates for his crews in the morning is getting hammered, especially now. If you're in business, you're just being crippled. What do you think about that?
I believe it's absolutely true, and especially if you depend on mainstream media or actually social media for your business, and the way they can come in and just squash you and also shadow ban you, restrict your pages just from telling the truth. And they want to say it's misinformation. It's their information. So I only report on the articles that are actually out there for the world to see, and then to get slapped down later to say that we're spreading misinformation. And that's impossible, because I read verbatim exactly what comes out of mainstream media and also their articles.
And with all the BS that comes from the left and all the hatred for Trump and all the incredibly, you know, debaucherous things that Facebook and Twitter has led on about him. And then Iranian leaders, you know, murderous leaders are on Twitter, but Trump isn't. And the fact that he's banned on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and he's a past president of the United States, is just so despicable to me. And, you know, I think we're in the throes of a revolution. And, you know, it's a big tech issue. You got different, you know, levels, the cloud services, the social media apps, the big tech algorithms restricting your views. And now Congress is trying to restrict the time you can spend on these issues on social media if you're a conservative. Tell us about...
what was it, 203, net neutrality. I tried to wave the red flag way back then when this was happening. I remember being the Tea Party Republican president of Lanier. So this is some of the stuff we was talking about at that time. 203, the House bill, the Senate bill. We was talking about net neutrality. We was talking about quantitative easing. We was talking about a lot of things that you will not get on mainstream media. And that's why on my show, I tell people, I present them the topics from them so other people can do their research so they won't be bamboozled.
Yeah, and Facebook's so corrupt, you know, their appeal process and all that BS when they, you know, my account's restricted. I'm only 7% of my 6,000, you know, friends and followers are getting my posts right now. That's why I've switched. I'm at David Zere on Getter and at David Zere on Truth Social. Much better platforms for free and open expression of ideas, I believe. Tell us about your latest endeavor, Fallback Production Studios.
We did this about 3 years ago. We've been a media company because I felt like we wasn't getting the right media. We wasn't getting the real news. So 3 years ago, we decided, you know what, let's become our own media network since we are getting slapped down everywhere we go. And so it picked up, it started. We are a media company, a legit media company. I have my national press pass. Tonight's show before I came on here was 1,091 consecutive shows, but that's not including the documentary
Wow.
that we've done. That doesn't include the speeches that I go around America and talk about our values as being Americans. And that doesn't even include the speeches from television shows and interviews. So I've really been crushed because I used to have 60,000 views per show. Now it's less than 1,000. But there is one company that has joined beside us called Auto Media, where it's in 1,600 urban areas. We know there's poor whites, poor blacks, poor Hispanics, and we're on 16 different urban television and media. So I'm getting about 1.7 million people to tune in ever since I actually started with that.
You
So
know, I
somebody's
hear
watching
your
me.
name. Yeah, I hear your name everywhere and wherever I go, you know, and your name comes up. And you were at the Marjorie Taylor Greene rally in Rome, Georgia, that Real America's Voice News aired. Tell us about that.
It was exciting. I've known Marjorie for about 4 years now, even before she decided to run in politics. I hold rallies every year, every single year for the last 7 years. I've been holding a rally. So this time around, she was up in Rome, Georgia, and she said, "Have anybody on my team got in contact with you to come and speak?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, I'm asking you personally because I helped Marjorie get in with the DC Project, A Girl and a Gun, where we believe education, not legislation. And plus, I'm on the outreach committee for the NRA. So I take my Second Amendment very seriously, especially after my son was shot and murdered in cold blood at a Domino's table and no one said a thing. It's only going to make me get up and shout even more.
That's it's so incredible. And I know you're at the core and grassroots. And you know, nothing came easy for you. You know, when I
And
you
it's
know I
still
had three
not
kids.
easy. It's not
Yeah,
easy, Dave. None of this is easy because we don't have a big name backer. We don't have anyone behind us. So you have a media company, a manufacturing company, and it was only brought on by my mother, my husband, and myself because we felt like no one else was going to give us a chance. No other media company that has big backers is going to look at a black lady like myself that pulled herself from the bootstrap, that has a voice, that has the pulse of Americans, and that can talk to everyone of every walk of life. No one wants to give us a chance. They want the polished person, the lady that rocks all the pearls, can get fake outrage because somebody told her to. But I
yeah,
have 9 grandbabies. So I know what my whys are. And I know right now with what Joe Biden, the West execs, Nancy Pelosi, and even we got to throw Republicans in there. This is not political to me anymore. This is good versus evil. So when I decided to really step out there, I had a microphone and a camera that we got from Best Buy for $198. And I traveled to
yeah.
5 states and I walked up to over 300 people for this documentary. And I said, "What makes America great for you?" And they gave me God, family, country, and Donald Trump.
I think there's a grassroots sea change in viewership, and I think people are latching on to your message. You know, I'm trying to speak for the guy who opens the cruise for his gate every morning, and it's less about party, more of a fight against the institutional bureaucracy of local, state, and federal pension system and municipal unions controlling Republicans and Democrats at the local, state, and national level with giant lobby. And, you know, both sides fight for these lucrative contracts while the business guy gets killed. And nobody's representing us anymore. And I'm very passionate about that. Tell our viewers where they can follow you and watch some of your stuff.
I am on 15 different platforms right now. I am on Auto Media, which is Roku, Hulu, Amazon, and Fire Stick. I'm also on God Family Country Television, the 1,600 urban radio and television broadcasts that I'm on at one time. I'm on Rumble, Anchor FM, Joshua TV, D Live, Facebook, and I got banned from YouTube. So my husband took on his account, and knowing me and my voice, he's going to get banned from YouTube too. So I'm here every day from Monday through Friday, 5 to 7, and I pull articles from all around the world, not only Ukraine, not only America, but from all over the global media network, and there's only 6. And I read their misinformation. And if it goes against our principles, our morals, and values as being Republicans, and not only Republicans, but Americans, I
Yeah.
really destroy them.
James O'Keefe, an American muckraker, his new book says, you're punished for coming out, and you feel isolated and alone. And at your lowest point, when your message is the most, hard hitting, but don't get down, because there's light at the end of the tunnel, and things have a way of catching fire. And keep it up, and don't let anyone ever tell you can't do it. Everybody, Lucretia Hughes, I want to thank you so much for coming on. 20 seconds, last word.
Y'all get out there and fight for your children. Figure out what your whys truly are. Figure out why you love this nation that you're in. Look at the goodness that is really within each and every last one of us, and band together, because right now it's either us or the globalist elite. And we have a voice. We are powerful individual, but we are even more powerful together. Like he said, never let someone tell you that you cannot do something. You are literally an American citizen, and you can do anything that you possibly want. Pull yourself by the bootstraps. Know what your whys is, and get out there on the front line and fight.
And it's the rugged individualism that made this country great, and you fail 9 out of 10 times. That's why I love Trump's positive message about that. Lucretia Hughes, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, we'll be in touch soon. Everybody, Lucretia Hughes, hard hitting, no nonsense. You got to follow her. So this is David Zere. You're watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. Uh, 20 seconds, last word.